subscribers, welcome. I hope you guys love it here. And for those who have already been rocking with me for a little while, welcome back. Nice to see you. Today we are going to be making a whole oven roasted garlic herb butter chicken. This is also a really good meal if you have a family. You guys know I have 2 kids and a husband. So one of the reasons why I like this meal is because it serves a lot of portions, and also it's kind of all in one pot. So you have your protein, your vegetables, and your starch all cooking together. So I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. If you want to learn how to make this, continue watching and let's get started. Alright you guys, let's get started. So here I have 1 whole chicken. I've already cleaned it. I usually use water, vinegar, salt, and lemon juice to clean my chicken with. I'm also going to be using 1 whole bulb of roasted garlic. I roasted this garlic myself. I do have a video on how I did this, so if you guys want to see that video, I will link it down below for you. I have some olive oil. I'm also going to be using 1 whole medium onion that I just cut up real roughly so you can see the pieces are a little bit big. I'm also going to be using 2 carrots that I peeled and sliced very thinly, along with 5 red potatoes that I've already washed and peeled. They do look a little ashy. I'm going to rinse them again before I start cooking them. And I'm also going to be using some fresh herbs. I have some rosemary and some thyme. This is about 1 or 2 sprigs of rosemary and 1 bunch of thyme that I plucked all the leaves off of. And I just diced it up with my knife really small so that we can use that later. But yeah, we definitely want to have some fresh herbs whenever we're cooking with poultry. And these are my seasonings. It's a lot, so I just decided to put them on a plate so I don't crowd my countertop. But I have 1 tablespoon of Slap Your Mama seasoning. I have 1 tablespoon of garlic and herb seasoning. I have 1 tablespoon of sazon. I have 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. 1 tablespoon of seasoning salt. This is just the Morton seasoning salt. If you have Lawry's, that's fine too. But this is the one that I had, so I'm going to be using that one. I have 1 tablespoon of bouillon, chicken bouillon, a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. I have 1 tablespoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of onion powder. So those are all the seasonings that we are going to be using today. Alongside that, I do have some butter as well. So this is the list of ingredients, and the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to take my kitchen shears and I'm going to cut the backbone out of this chicken. You guys do not have to do this part. I am going to be butterflying my chicken when I cook it, so I'm going to be cutting that whole backbone out. I am going to be showing you exactly how I did that. I'm going to be using my shears, and once I get to the bottom where that bone is a little bit thick, I'm going to take my knife out just to help cut it through. But this is how you butterfly a chicken. So you know, when you butterfly it, it kind of lays flat and it looks even on both sides. So like I said, that is how I'm going to be cooking it. You guys do not need to do this, but just know if you do not butterfly it, you're just probably going to have to roast it a little longer, and that is totally fine. So yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys how to do that. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit so it's not too long, and I will be back after my chicken is butterflying. Also, one thing I do want to point out, please be careful if you do decide to do this. This can get really tricky. So as you guys probably saw, I was feeling around with my fingers so I could feel where the bones actually were, so I knew where I was cutting. If you've done this before, obviously you already know what you're doing, but I just want to say, just be careful if you do decide to do this so you don't get one of your fingers. Just go slowly. Even though I do have it sped up here, I was going very slow when I did this, just so I made sure I didn't obviously cut myself or cut the chicken in a spot I didn't want to cut it in. So like I said, just be very careful. And that is the whole backbone of the chicken. It looks scary, I know, but I'm just going to go ahead and discard that. I'm going to flip my chicken over. I did wash it again after I cut the backbone out just to make sure it was extra clean. So since I just got done washing this chicken, I do need to go ahead and pat it dry, because once we start seasoning it up, we don't want it to be wet because the seasonings will not stick to it. So just make sure before you start seasoning your chicken, you just get it nice and dry with a paper towel before you move on. So next I'm going to grab my olive oil and I'm going to drizzle this oil on top of my chicken, and this is going to help my seasonings to stick to it. So I am going to grab a fork and I'm just going to go ahead and mix all these seasonings up so that they're nice and blended up together, and then I'm going to start seasoning my chicken with my seasoning blend. Alright, and my seasonings are all blended up together. So I'm going to take a couple of handfuls of my spice mix and I'm going to pour this right on top of the chicken, and I'm just going to take my hands and I'm just going to massage all of the seasonings on top of the chicken, and then I'm going to flip it over and do the same underneath. I also like to make sure that on the parts where the thigh and the leg is, that skin is nice and loose, so you can lift that piece of skin up and get underneath of that skin too. So I'm going to be seasoning on top, and I'm going to go up inside of that skin, and I'm going to season the inside as well. Alright, so our next step is to start making that garlic and herb butter. So first I'm going to take one whole stick of butter, soft butter, and I'm going to put it in my bowl. And after that, we're going to grab that whole bulb of roasted garlic, and I'm going to add that right into my butter as well. And after we add in the garlic, we're going to go ahead and grab those herbs. We're going to toss those in too. And after that, I do like to drizzle in just a little bit of olive oil. I think it helps kind of make the butter a little bit more smooth and creamy. So I'm just going to put a little drizzle of olive oil in that bowl, and I'm going to give it a really good mix so I can get everything nice and incorporated together. After that, I am going to pop this in the microwave just for maybe 30 seconds or so, because I want to get this butter melted down. I think it's a little bit easier to pour the butter while it's already kind of melted right on top of the chicken than trying to smear it on there, because since the chicken is cold, it's going to make that butter clump up a little. So I'm going to melt this up, as you can see there, and that's going to make it nice and easy for us to just pour that right on over that chicken. And as I'm rubbing in this butter, I am going to start adding in some more seasoning so I can get this nice and seasoned up and everything just starts blending really, really well together. I do want to point out we are going to be saving a little bit of that seasoning. We do want to save some of that so we can season up our vegetables with that as well. So I'm not going to use my entire spice mix. I'm just going to leave just a little bit so we can season up our potatoes, carrots, and onions with it as well. And that is our chicken all seasoned up and ready to go. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab my vegetables. I'm going to pour all of this into a nice big bowl so that I can season it up. I am going to be putting the rest of that spice mix in there along with some olive oil just to help the spices stick to the vegetables a little bit better. And I'm just going to give that a really good toss so everything gets nice and seasoned up, and then we're going to move on to our next step. As you can see, also, I did grab out my baking dish. You're going to want to get any kind of baking safe dish that's big enough for your chicken. So for me, I'm using my roasting pan, but you guys can use an aluminum foil pan, a glass pan, whatever you guys have. And as you can see, my vegetables are nice and seasoned up. So I'm going to grab my chicken and I'm going to go ahead and place that right into the bottom of my roasting pan. You guys, we're going to be roasting this in our oven at 350 degrees for 1 hour and 30 minutes. At every 30-minute mark, make sure you take the chicken out, baste it with those juices at the bottom of the pan, and then put it back in. And at that last 30 minutes, crank it up to 375 so you can get that nice golden skin on the top. Our very last step is to go ahead and place in our vegetables. As you can see, I'm placing this around the chicken, so I'm nesting the chicken in the vegetables. You want to try your best not to put the vegetables directly on top of the chicken because it will limit how brown that the skin gets. So you really want to make sure the skin is nice and open so it can sop up all of that heat from your oven. And like I said, we're going to bake this for 1.5 hours at 350, and at that last 30 minutes, 375. I went ahead and put this on the very bottom rack of my oven, and after 1.5 hours, this is what you get. This was my chicken. You guys, this is the perfect meal, especially if you have a family, or if you guys don't like turkey on Thanksgiving or for your holidays, try doing a chicken instead. This is a really, really good dish. It's flavorful. It serves a lot of people. And this was the finished product, plated up. I really hope you guys give this recipe a try. It's one of my family's favorite recipes. And if you like this video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, you guys.